A nation divided, the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was a long, costly, and divisive conflict. It was a turning point in American history, shaping both foreign policy and domestic politics for decades to come. The war deeply divided the American people, sparking passionate debates about the morality of the conflict and the role of the United States in the world. This essay will explore the origins of the Vietnam War, the key events and turning points, and its lasting impact on both the United States and Vietnam. The Vietnam War was a complex and multifaceted conflict with roots in colonialism, nationalism, and the Cold War. The war's legacy continues to shape the relationship between the United States and Vietnam, serving as a reminder of the human cost of conflict and the importance of understanding the historical context of international relations. It is a conflict that continues to fascinate, haunt, and inform our understanding of war and its consequences. Understanding the Vietnam War requires grappling with the perspectives of all those involved. It necessitates acknowledging the courage and sacrifice of soldiers on both sides, as well as the resilience of Vietnamese civilians caught in the crossfire. The Vietnam War remains a subject of intense scrutiny and debate, with historians and policymakers continuing to grapple with its legacy. By understanding the war's complexities, we can learn from its mistakes and strive for a more peaceful future. Roots of conflict, from French Indochina to the rise of Ho Chi Minh. To understand the Vietnam War, one must first delve into the history of Vietnam itself. For centuries, Vietnam had struggled against foreign domination, first under Chinese rule and later as part of French Indochina. Following World War II, a charismatic leader named Ho Chi Minh emerged, determined to secure independence for his people. Ho Chi Minh, inspired by communist ideology, led the Viet Minh in a fight against French colonial forces. The First Indochina War culminated in the pivotal Battle of Dien Bien Phu in 1954, a decisive victory for the Viet Minh that signaled the end of French colonial rule. The Geneva Accords of 1954 temporarily partitioned Vietnam along the 17th parallel, with Ho Chi Minh's communist forces in control of the north, and a US-supported government led by Ngo Dinh Diem in the south. This division, intended as a temporary measure, would prove to be a critical turning point in the path towards war. Despite the agreement, tensions simmered between the communist north and the US-backed south. Ho Chi Minh's vision of a unified, independent Vietnam clashed with the United States' Cold War fears of communist expansion in Southeast Asia. This ideological divide, coupled with the unresolved political situation in Vietnam, set the stage for one of the most consequential conflicts of the 20th century. Escalation and intervention, America enters the fray. Fearful of the so-called domino theory, which posited that the fall of one Southeast Asian nation to communism would lead to the fall of others, the United States became increasingly entangled in Vietnam's affairs. The Gulf of Tonkin incident in 1964, in which North Vietnamese torpedo boats allegedly attacked US destroyers, provided the pretext for escalating American involvement. Congress passed the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, granting President Lyndon B. Johnson broad authority to deploy US military forces in Southeast Asia. What began as a limited intervention rapidly transformed into a full-scale war. As the conflict intensified, the United States found itself drawn deeper into the quagmire, deploying hundreds of thousands of troops to fight alongside the South Vietnamese army. The Vietnam War was unlike any previous conflict the United States had fought. The unfamiliar terrain, the guerrilla tactics employed by the Viet Cong, and the widespread public opposition to the war at home created a perfect storm of challenges for the American military and the Johnson administration.